What's up, everybody? So, this is like my fourth attempt, I think, to make this video. I made two really great videos last night, but then I went to go watch them and edit them and put them up, and I found out that after I did this new update for my program, that like the whole recording thing didn't work, and so I've been doing like updates and trying to reinstall older versions, all this other stuff. It turns out that I don't know if any of you guys use OBS for anything, but if you do, with this new OBS update that I use for my Mac, it changed the recording file type for the videos. So I wound up deleting those videos. I don't know if there was a way for me to convert them, but there was no way for me to open them, and I had to change it so that way I was able to do it. So I did lose that other video, but I wrote everything down that I mentioned, and I'm gonna free verse it a little bit. All right. So first things first is I live in Florida now. Some of you met me when I was living in New Jersey, and then I moved out to Los Angeles, and then I moved back to New Jersey during the pandemic, and now I've moved down to Florida. The reason for me moving to Florida is back around when I started touring, like U.S. touring, like doing big stuff, I basically parked my 65 Mustang that my dad had built. My dad had a lot of Mustangs. It was like one of the things that him and I shared together growing up was just tinkering with his cars. I've mentioned that very many times. It's why I tinker with my guitars. So I moved down to Florida to move in with my cousin, who's 5 years older than me. I called him for his 42nd birthday, and he was like, "Man, you really should come to Florida." I was like, "Dude, like it wasn't just that. I wasn't like such an easy sell." But he gave me like list after list after list, reason after reason of why I should come down here. And he just bought a house down here, and it seems like it's something more affordable that I'd be able to do down here as opposed to up in New Jersey, where everything is just so expensive, man. Even very well off people that I know have a hard time keeping up with like taxes and stuff like that up there. So I'm trying to start my life down here. This is where I want to like set my roots. This is where I want to like start to grow. So I came down here, and within just a few days of being here and trekking everything down, I do have some pictures that maybe I'll show you guys from the move. But yeah, we got the car down here within a few days of being down here, and everything, by the way, not just the car, my motorcycle, 20-something guitars, 11 amps. I have a bin that's called Been There, Done That, got the t-shirt. It's like one or two shirts or more of every band that I've ever been in, or tours that I've been on, or shows that I've played that had commemorative shirts, anything like that. I brought everything this time. There's only a handful of things that I have left besides my son, but he actually came down with me, right? And we got the car running. He drove the car around my cousin's yard within like the first few days of being down here. So my 14-year-old son got to drive this car, and I plan on giving this car to him. So I'm down here, been spending all my time working on that. Just recently, my cousin and I did another shotgun run up to my old roommate's place, where I was living in New Jersey, to pick up a 1963 Ford Fairlane Squire. It's got a 260 V8 with the 3 on the tree manual transmission, the rumble seat. The interior is beautiful. I did take video of that entire process, not the drive, because that was boring as all hell. If I wasn't driving, I was sleeping. But the entire process of going in the garage and taking the tires off and breaking the brakes free and launching it up, and winching it up onto the trailer, and that whole process, pulling it out of the garage. This 63 Ford Fairlane has not been registered since 1979, which is the same year that my cousin who got the car was born. So again, within just a few days of it being here, I think within a week of it being here, we had it running for the first time in over 20 years, 100%. I only saw that car run once in all the time that I knew my roommate, and I've known him since I was 15, so it's like 22 years. Um, and yeah, it only ran one time that I know of. So he already drove that around the yard. Uh, that car is looking great. So I've been spending a lot of my time here. When James was here, I was spending time with him, playing video games, working on cars, driving cars, doing stuff, letting him be a kid and be on the phone with his girlfriend who he missed all the time. And um, once James left, I honestly, guys, I didn't know what was going on with touring. I considered myself semi-retired. I just kept telling myself that over and over and over again. In the move that I was like semi-retired. Now, like with the touring life and most of the bands that I play with, where you live doesn't even really matter. But I was kind of getting into this mindset of, all right, I guess like stuff's not going to be the same again. And I don't know, like sometimes I don't find out about tours until literally just before you guys. I think like this Nita tour, I found out like a day or 2 days before it was announced. You know what I mean? Sometimes I find out about other stuff ahead of time, and I'll get into that in a second because I just made a post about some other tours I'm going to be on. So, only for you guys, by the way. Again, everything I do here is only for you guys. I don't make these videos available to the public afterwards. I'm not saying that I never will, but currently that's not in the plan. Right now, this is between me and you. So, I've been working on cars. I thought I was going to just get a normal job. I even I have all my tools down here, right? I have this giant roller cabinet of tools from all the years of working on cars with my dad. Plus, if you don't know, I do have a degree in high honors from Lincoln Tech in automotive technology. Cars is a passion of mine, in specific, the engines. I love engines. I love that. And part of the big overhaul with my 65 Mustang is that car is originally a 289 3-speed car that my father used to see like tearing up around the town growing up. I have some plans for it, and right now it has a 1966 inline 6 200 with these 3-speed automatic trans. It is original 289 3-speed car, and I bought a 1965 289 block, and I'm gonna like bet the farm on it. I'm gonna have it like the block built up like pretty good. I'm gonna probably put like $4,000 just into the lower end. I don't know where I'm getting that money right now. It's not like I have it. But I plan on making it a fully forged lower end, and then I'm gonna rebuild like the stock heads and stuff that are on it. And then when I get more money, I'll put like aluminum heads, crazy intake manifold, definitely a super fat 4-barrel at the minimum, because when we got the car, it had a teardrop hood scoop on it, and I want to put that back on it. I think it was a metal hood. It was a metal hood with a fiberglass teardrop like riveted onto it. I don't have that hood anymore. I lost it with a couple other things when my father passed away because it was mixed up with all this other stuff that just got sold. I know it sounds weird to say that you lost a motor and a hood, but if you knew the sheer amount of car parts that my father had, you would fully understand something like that being very easy to just be in a pile somewhere. But yeah, so I'm doing that car. I've been working on this stuff. Right now, I'm getting, before tour, I got all new weather stripping. So I got... and I've documented some of the stuff with the Mustang too. By the way, I'm only one person, so I'm filming a lot of stuff. I'm working on a lot of stuff. I know that I have not posted shit for the last few months, but that doesn't mean I haven't been working on stuff. I know that like this Patreon form is for you guys to get to see stuff that no one else does. Trust me, no one else sees it. The whole focus for me coming to Florida has been, after the last 18 months of not knowing what's up, down, left, and right, I finally feel great. I feel whole again. I wanted. Oh, I did say this in the other video that got mysteriously deleted. It's so weird and how that. No, I'm just kidding. But the last November, I got COVID, and I'm telling you, I had fatigue for what feels like months. Now, it might not be months, but it felt like I was tired forever. And that became like a cycle where I was just like sitting down a lot. I was like, not, I don't know if I was out of breath or anything like that, but I was just like tired. I didn't want to do anything. I wasn't necessarily depressed. Maybe I could have been depressed. It's like this whole thing. But like it was summertime, it was nice out. I was in a good mood, cheerful, so it wasn't any of that. But I just, maybe it was having to move and everything and just like compartmentalizing. But I'm telling you, I felt like I just didn't have any energy for the last like little bit. And now, dude, I'll tell you guys, I hustled hard when this pandemic hit. It was actually a benefit for me for online teaching. It was actually really great. So I was, dude, between when I was in LA and then when I moved to New Jersey, I was working 7 days a week teaching online, jumping like a crazy person, doing everything I could to stay afloat, right? And it was good because it was busy. I was making good money. I was paying my rent. I was paying all my bills. I didn't have a lot of the stresses that were that so many other people had, and I felt very fortunate for that. However, I got nothing in return. School of Rock kind of dropped a bunch of us teachers like a bad habit for various reasons. Mine being that I wasn't able to be in the building as of a certain date, and they said anyone who wasn't there on that day is shit canned. And they didn't even give me like an option of like, well, how much more time do you? They didn't even like give me that. They just like, oh, you're shit canned on this day. I threw a big trolling thing of I will not be silenced in the School of Rock forums, and I let every single teacher know. I don't care. I left there kicking and screaming because they tried to say that I quit and they fired me. And in the time of a pandemic, that was just like a really not great thing to do. So what I've been doing is I've been just motoring forward with my lessons. Lessons have slowed down right now with getting back to school and everything like that, and everyone needing extra time for sports because now sports are allowed again. And I'm used to lessons like taking a dive during sports season and certain things so this feels familiar again. And now I'm getting ready for tour. So a while back, I got a message on Instagram from the band Raven Black. You may know them from when they recently toured with Static X when I was on that tour after the last Nita tour. Which, by the way, the very last Nita Strauss show was the very last show that I myself played as a musician on. I did very many shows and was a part of very many other shows after that. But the last show that I played on a stage was in Houston, Texas. No, I don't know. Whatever the last Texas stop was on the Control Chaos tour. So I'm very excited to be playing. So anyway, I'm sitting home. I consider myself semi-retired. I'm trying to get a real job. I was trying to be a mechanic. They didn't want to pay any kind of money. Like I was trying to find like the normal work. And I'll tell you, I have had depression my whole life, but I convinced myself to become an optimist, where even though I suffer from depression, and I don't know if that's like the creativity artist side of me, or if it's like actual just like, I don't know, depression. For me, I've always dealt with depression I think it's like Mental Health Awareness Month this month. I have always dealt with my inward feelings, my stress, my anxiety, my guilt, my whatever you want to call it, all of my inward focus stuff that usually can be so crippling. I usually focus all of that into music, into just playing. I know that I've been meaning to capture these moments more because playing in my room by myself in those moments is something I cherish so much. I do want to record those moments, but also understand that they're like special to me. And as a musician, especially someone who studies music, it's really hard to dive into the stuff that is your release. Example of that is I've always been able to listen to Nine Inch Nails, The Fragile, and not like try and study it, just like absorb it because I love it so much. Recently, I've been studying Nine Inch Nails and their melodic theory, and I'll tell you, I'm getting pretty close to where I'm not going to be able to listen to it without studying it, and it's always been a very sacred album to me. So I'm in dangerous territory. And that's kind of what I don't want to get into with that. I don't want to make my release the job, right? Because like I said, like me playing, I play, you guys have no idea, I play 10 to 15 hours a day sometimes. Sometimes I'll play 30 seconds at a clip, but I'll do that like across 10, 15, 20 hours of being in my room and working between taking breaks of stuff on the computer or whatever, or teaching. And I'm always doodling. So anyway, sitting here, trying to get a job, just doing normal stuff, kind of taking a break from the workload of music, enjoying the music, and then I get a message on Instagram from Raven Black. And they're like, yo, dude, XYZ reason, we're not able to take our guitar player on tour. We're leaving for tour within this moment in like a week and a half. In this moment in Black Veil Brides, do you want to play guitar? And I'm like, I finally get to break out the Riddler guitar, you know? And I studied all their stuff. I worked super, super, super hard. I learned their entire set in like 3 or 4 days. The songs weren't overly difficult. There were some challenges. There was a lot of upstroking on like some riffs. And if anyone, any of you guys play guitar, like stroking upward, it gets a little funny sometimes. So like that was cool. I like it when I'm learning something, have to learn new music and I have to either brush up on a technique that I haven't used in a while or I have to learn a new technique. Also, Jesus, I don't know if I'll ever make a video of it, but another thing that I've been working on the last, I don't know, a couple months, I've been able to play it forever, but it's playing it up to speed is what's up. I've been working on Eugene's Trick Bag, which is Ralph Macchio's guitar solo against Steve Vai from the movie Crossroads. I could play the whole thing. It's playing it very fluid and very fast, which is the problem. If I ever get it up to speed, I'll make one of those videos. Even if I get it like close, you know, I'll make a video. At least for you guys. I don't know for everyone else. But yeah, so they hit me up. I've been learned their songs in a few days. I previously just told you that I had COVID last November, so I not political, not nothing. I don't take Tylenol. I don't get sick too often. I tend to have a pretty decent immune system. Even when I was living with James's mom, if we would both get like the same cold, I might be like sick for like a day, maybe 2, usually a day, 24 hours. And she'd be like sick for like 5 days, right? So I've always felt like I had like a pretty good immune system. Plus I had COVID, and with all of the hubbub, I was just holding off on getting the vaccine. I didn't see an urgency. I do spend most of my time by myself, alone in my room. I know what science says and everything like that. I don't know. Who knows? I don't know what the Mona Lisa looks like on this landscape of coronavirus, right? So we're all just doing the best we can. So I didn't rush into getting the vaccine, but in order to be on this tour, with Raven Black in this moment of Black Veil Brides, part of the condition was that everyone had to be fully vaccinated. So I got vaccinated. I had to get the Johnson & Johnson vaccine because I had like 5 days to fly out, and until I was flying out. And all those other vaccines, they take 2 doses. They're like 2 weeks apart, all this other crap. And I just didn't have that time. So I got the shot. I learned all the songs up until the day I was like, am I going? Am I going? Am I going? And then they're like, nope, we're not going. What happened is because of the mishap with the guitar player and him not having the vaccine, for whatever reason, he wasn't able to be on the tour, and so that's why I was coming on. But since there was already like this, like they shift, like they were Raven Black, I guess, was trying to stay on the tour, but then they had gotten dropped in this process, and they were trying to get back on, and it just didn't. I don't know, whatever, politics, stuff, things, blah blah blah. They weren't on the tour, so I spent all this time busting my ass, being able to perform for this very theatrical band, practicing right here in my bedroom. I know I should have filmed it, right? I was under a lot of stress. I had to really focus. The whole thing turned out to not happen. Then they hit me up after that, and they're like, listen, we didn't get this tour, but we do have another tour in February and March. We'd like you to play bass. I was like, man, I really want to play guitar, but okay. So I really want to get this Riddler guitar out there from Matt from Plan 916. Like, he's been so good to me with my guitar playing and everything, and we haven't like ever finalized the product for bass pickups for these Ibanez basses because of like the soap bar elongated thing. Like, we've tried some stuff and we didn't really like it, and we never really settled on it. And so yeah, when I get these like big gigs playing bass, I feel really bad that I'm not using 916 pickups in these basses, but I will be soon, hopefully. I do have some surprises that I'm going to share with you guys first, and then I'm not going to share it with anyone else until they actually come in, which will be, I guess, kind of soon. But Neck Illusions was so gracious, or I am so gracious, rather, and they sent me, they're sending me inlays that instead of these dots, which they are beautiful mother of pearl, and it does stink. But the great thing about Neck Illusions is these are like, they're going to be fret overlays, and they very easily peel off if you don't want them on, and they don't harm the fretboard at all. So, yeah. But I'm going to have the 3 logo that is right here, right there. That is going to be all of my fret markers. 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 12, 15, 17, 19, whatever. Up to 24. I don't know what that one is. That 21? I guess that's the 21st fret. I never really thought about it. Oh, and this bass has a 0 fret, as you can see. So they're even giving me a sliver to go right in there to cover it. And so one of these basses, is going to keep this rosewood look and have the 3 logo. And the other one, if I hold them this way, you can kind of see what it's going to look like. And then the other one's going to have an ebony fretboard with the 3 logo. Now I have some options for the 12th fret here. I have options to either do two dots with the 3s, for like the 3s for the big dots, or for all 3 frets for a big 3 like I have on the Berserker guitar. I haven't decided what I'm going to do yet. But so when I do that, one of these is going to have a rosewood fretboard, and then the other one's going to have an ebony fretboard. When that happens, instead of being called just 13 and 14 as their tour stickers describe, there's a reason for that. I'll get into that in a second. But instead of just 13 and 14, which is basically just how I tell like our tech what bass I need, we're going to call one Bonnie, and the other one is going to be called Rose. Bonnie is going to be the one that gets the ebony fretboard, and Rose is going to be the one that gets the roses fretboard. Yeah. Anyway. The reason why these are called 13 and 14, which I'm sure you guys may have heard me tell you before, because I do talk about it a lot, is their serial numbers. I have to hold them a certain way so I can read it with the light here. The serial numbers for these basses are sequential. So it's blank, blah, 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 513, which is 13. And blah, 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 blah. You don't want to put it out there, you know what I mean? 514. Exact matching sequential basses, which has been one of the coolest things that I've ever experienced in my entire life when it comes to gear. I'm a total gear nerd. And yeah, dude, it's super cool. I feel like you couldn't get two basses that are more similar. And when one's your main and the other one's your backup, the ability for you picking up your backup and it sounding just like your primary are pretty close. It's got to be the closest it could possibly be to be maybe made out of the same blocks of wood, maybe made by the same guy, maybe from the same tree, maybe from insert anything with two basses that are side by side. The conditions that one was in for moisture and the electronics day, the fact that they could have been made back to back could both either help them or hurt it. But yeah, the ability for those to maybe possibly sound interchangeable is definitely got to be high. And if not, it is in my head. So I've been getting these ready for Nita Strauss now. That tour was announced after that other Raven Black tour. Dude, so Raven Black, that tour falls through. They asked me to do this other tour in February, March. I'm like, hell yeah. They hit me up, and they're like, yo, man, we got a show December 11th. We were just going to have some local guys do it. Do you want to come do that on bass for us also? You know, we figure since you're going on tour with us, it'd be better if you played this show, you know, like it'd be like practice, whatever. And I was like, hell yeah. Next day, Josh calls me, and he's like, yo, we got a tour. And I was like, yo, hell yeah, man. I was like, all right, see you soon. Oh, shit. Raven Black, sorry, guys. Listen, I can't do December 11th. I just got this Nita Strauss tour. It wasn't even like 24 hours from when so no big deal. They were already planning on getting someone else for that show. So now they just have to. Unfortunately, I wish I could play both shows. But I don't even know where I'll be on December 11th off the top of my head. So if they were in the same city, dude, I would do it. I'd do both shows. So now I'm prepping for the Nita Strauss tour. And this has been great because, you know, as a hired gun, I always get attached to the material. A lot of the times, I'm not going to lie. I mean, dude, a lot of the times that I get hired by people, I don't know. I haven't been listening to their albums my whole life. There's only one band where that happened. That was with Michael Graves. I had been listening to the Misfits my entire life. You know, as long as I've had the rock and roll itch, I've been listening to the Misfits. They've been very instrumental in, you know, my adolescent and adult show experience. You know, I saw the Misfits with Michael Graves when I was like 15 or something. Very intimate show. I actually filmed recently a revisit of me going to the Rec Room in Wallington, which is where I saw the Misfits, and then, you know, it's closed down now. Across the street used to be Jerry Only's first job, which was Farmland Dairy. I spoke to him about that at that show when I was 15. You know, like big reason why I aspired to be a musician was the Misfits. And then, later on, working for Graves, playing in Darrow Chemical Company, like working for Graves as a tech for my buddies. And then eventually playing in Graves, and then seeing the Misfits in Newark with Glenn Danzig. Like, seen Danzig a few times. Um, so, yeah, always been, other than that one band, I haven't really been like super well versed in any band that has hired me. Kind of sucks sometimes when you have to learn 7 songs that you've never heard before. Um, so, and that's what Raven Black was. That's the Independence. It was I had to learn 20 in 2015. I had to learn 22 songs that I didn't know, and I had 3 days, or 21 songs, and then Children of October, I didn't know the songs. Darrow Chemical Company, I had to learn 12 songs in 24 hours. That was super hard, but I had learned some of those songs on my own before, plus I'd been around the band and hung around with them a lot. So, like, I had some sort of semblance of how these songs, like, went, and I, play guitar. So, like, a lot of these things are just power chords. So, like, I was able to fill a lot. I'm not saying that first show was great by any means, but I was able to fill in a lot of the blanks just out of familiarity. Same thing with Graves. Like with Graves, I was able to, if I made a mistake, yeah, I'd get an eye. He'd shoot me the look sometimes. But I knew how to cover and I knew how to recover. So Nita, that was hard in the first tour. Second tour, obviously, dude, and the first tour, man, like her album wasn't out. So there was only one song out when I got hired by Nita, and it was Pandemonium, and I learned it in E flat, to then have to change everything because we use different tunings for live, and like I still played it exactly the same, but it sounded different, and her album, yeah, it wasn't even out yet, and like by the time we got the music, it was like crunch time. And the first time that I picked up my bass and I started to learn a Nita Strauss song, that was the very first time I heard all of those songs except for one. And so, yeah, this has been great because when I learn these songs, right, because it's such an intense process and I've never heard these songs before for Independence, for when I got the Nita tour, Children of October, even some of the Darrow stuff. Darkness Descends, when I was in that band, right there, when I was in that band, I had known of this band. I didn't know any of their songs. I had to learn their songs, 5 songs in 5 days, which were super freaking hard, by the way. And I have to make visual attachments to it. I have to, like, make an attachment to it. Sometimes, I tend to become fond of the music that I'm learning. And like, even with the Independence was ska music. I don't listen to ska. I despise ska music 99.9% of the time. Being in that band playing bass, I really, really, really enjoyed those songs. It made me feel good. I was in a very, very metal phase in my life with Darkness Descends, and then heavier punk with Darrow, and then to have it kind of lighter mood, and not playing 7-string or 8-string guitar, or like having to down pick or like anything like that, to just like be able to groove and play these really nice bass lines. I got a great attachment to it, but then I didn't get hired again. And then, like, whatever, they choose new guys all the time. But like, so it's weird because you make an attachment to the music to remember it and to feel it, but you try not to get too attached to it, because as a hired gun, you're never 100% sure, because honestly, as a hired gun, there's always someone better. You just got to be the best you and hope that gets you the job. I mean, yes, you have to do certain responsibilities and certain things a certain way, but you got to be you. You at the end of the day, you're getting hired for you, not just the way you can play, because like, I know that Nita could have any bass player on the planet play for her. You know, like she's an amazing person, and who wouldn't jump at that opportunity that I'm so unbelievably fortunate and feel that I'm fortunate to have, and have always felt that way since the very first time I met them, or even had the opportunity, like was told about the opportunity. Um, and man, like part of the reason is, yeah, I play bass, but I try and fill other holes. You know, um, a show takes everybody with a million hands to get it done. Uh, the bosses are in charge of everything that happens, and trust me, on these tours, man, tight ship, tight ship, and I love it. I absolutely love the way that we tour. I don't like touring with a bunch of drunken punks in a van driving around, piss poor, like half hungover. Like that shit's not fun, man. Um, I like to go to like to a job and work and and feel like everybody around me takes it just as serious as I do. And that's been a big misplacement for me with a lot of the bands that I have been hired by or worked with or whatever, is I really want a tight ship. But I don't want to be the one that's barking all the orders, but I want to be a part of a team. Um, I don't want to be the one barking all the orders because I don't bark nicely. I bark loud and I'm a dick. So I want to be part of a team because I have a no tolerance policy. I don't care what anyone says. It's like when something has to get done, I've learned my life. I've spent so much of my life as a rebel to now I just had to, it's like even me saying it to myself, it's like I've had to learn the lesson of sometimes it doesn't matter what you think about it. It just has to get done. And I have zero tolerance for that when I'm like the boss, right? I'm like, ugh, doesn't matter, dude. Just fucking do it, you know? But I love being part of a team, which is exactly what the Nita Strauss camp is. It's a great, great team. And it's usually a small team too. It's like us in the band. It's just like everything else, man. Like we all do all the stuff. So yes, there's techs and yes, there's like merch people and stuff like that. But like it's very many hands do light work. And as long as we stay conditioned and like, dude, being on a tour that is sober, dude, is so good. It's so good. It's so good. Um, it literally takes all of, not all, because you're a bunch of people living in a confined space, traveling around. Sometimes shit sucks. Everybody has nuclear bombs that they're all avoiding and World War IIIs that they're all avoiding in their home life and stuff like that, right? So every once in a while, it's like, right? But when there's booze involved in that, dude, so much worse. Oh, God, so much worse. And then with booze comes bad decisions, bad life decisions. And so to be on this, and and to be on a tour that's so focused, that's what I really look forward to. Not every band is like that, but that's one of the things that I really love about touring with that camp. And like I said, I couldn't be happier that I'm there. So yeah, guys, that's been what's going on. It was kind of, I don't know how long this is. How long are we at here? We're at like 39 minutes. I have stuff. The message to you guys is I have stuff coming that I'm making, but I'm only one person. So another thing I want to address for all you patrons is when I initially started this Patreon page, it was designed for me to help build up the ability to teach online. That's really what I consider the income for, and working on the album, obviously, but doing like the documentation, getting the gear and everything. Since that time started, through other means, I've been able to accrue a pretty decent gear load, and I don't need any more gear. So what I'm doing is I'm keeping this money in the Patreon page for now. I took money out once for half the money for one of these cameras, and then I think I took some money out to like pay for tolls or gas or something on the way down. But I still have a couple $100 in the Patreon account. What I'm going to do is I'm going to keep letting that grow, and I want to use it for stuff to send out to you guys. Because, like I said, unless this Patreon page ever becomes something that's like, you know, a lot of people on it, it's not gonna, and it might grow. I'm gonna keep doing stuff, but like it's not gonna. It doesn't pay my rent, so I much would rather focus on, since I'm like way ahead of schedule. I'm getting this gear because I've been so fortunate through, like I said, through a few other means. I want to take this money and I want to do fun stuff for you guys, because without you guys, I'm nothing. You guys are the near and dear to me. You guys are the people who care past the shadow of a doubt. So, Oceans of Stormtroopers. I got a video. I'm going to try and do it right now. After I do this and upload it for everyone, I'm going to do that for you guys. And I got some stuff that I'm going to be putting together. So be patient with me. That has been my 3-month update. There will not be another 3-month update. They will all be coming more often than that. It's just taking a little bit to get everything together. Oh, one of the things I didn't tell you guys is when I was getting my COVID shot. Those of you who are still here, you'll hear a little insider. When I had to go and get the COVID shot, I was having chest pains at the time, and I wasn't sure why. Turns out that, you know, the way I sleep and playing guitar, I'm like really messing up the muscle in my left side of my back. So I've been getting like these pains that like radiated around. So I thought, like, I don't know, I was having like heart problems or like lung problems or some shit. So I wound up going to the doctor, getting checked out, getting EKGs, getting x-rays, doing all that stuff, all making sure that if I got the COVID shot, I wasn't going to die while I was learning all these songs, shotgunning them, and getting ready and packing everything up and getting ready to go out on tour. It was like, guys, that was like, I don't know, a week and probably like a week and a half from beginning to end. But there was like a solid like 5 to 7 days when life was pure chaos. But I don't know, it went fine. It all went fine. I kept a good beat about it going up, you know, going into everything. And it was cool, you know. So I'm very excited to see a lot of you soon. Be on the lookout for some more material. Oceans of Stormtroopers, you guys are going to get a breakdown into one of the songs that I recorded right before I left New Jersey, and a couple other ideas of where I've been going. So thanks so much, guys. You really are the best. I don't know what the rules are for the tours yet as far as contact. Who knows? I have to listen to the bosses. And I'll see you guys soon. Ciao.